How can I be authentic as a writer? How can I be authentic as a person? If you are asking those questions, this video is totally for you. Firstly, I want to say that if you are thinking about how to be authentic, or even thinking that you're not being authentic, this is actually a really good sign. And I know that it won't feel like that. But what it means is that you are beginning to question. You're beginning to imagine, what would it be like if I wasn't just fitting in, if I wasn't just going with the flow, but if I was beginning to find my own rhythm? Okay, so firstly, it's a good sign. A lot of people can freak out at this stage. They're like, oh, I'm not being authentic, or how can I be authentic? And I am in that same category. When these questions first started to come to me, I was really freaked out by it. So it's a good sign. You're in a good place. Secondly, how do we even go about being authentic? I know from my own experience, the idea can feel scary, okay? So the first thing that I want to suggest is, what happens if you stop using that word? So for me, if I can't say the word scary, then I have to start describing it instead. So rather than say, oh, it feels scary, I have to say, oh, it feels like my heart is beating really fast. It feels like my armpits are just getting really super sweaty. It feels like I'm slightly blushing. And so if you take those feelings in isolation, pounding heart, slightly sweaty, slightly blushing, in a way, those are the same feelings as excitement. Sometimes I might experience that when I'm like feeling really in love. So suddenly scary becomes, I'm alive. And wow, what a difference that makes. We're imagining being authentic and our body is suddenly waking up. Our body is suddenly alive. And that feels like an amazing message coming from the whole of us saying, yes, I'm in love with being authentic. I'm in love with this idea. I'm so excited about speaking my truth. Okay, so firstly, we're like, okay, this is a good place. Secondly, we're like, oh, these feelings are actually exciting. These feelings are encouraging me. So thirdly, how do we go about it? So again, this is another thing that I have come to see in my own journey as a person, as a writer. So taking it in the context of being a writer, I would be looking at other people and their work, and I'd be thinking, oh, they're so authentic, like their voice, it's so real, it's so them. That's how I want to be. And so suddenly this idea of being authentic, which is here, we're looking out there. We're looking out there for how other people are doing it. So in a way, we're kind of doing the same thing that we were doing, which is trying to fit in, trying to follow somebody else. But that's okay. Because essentially we're trying to learn something that we don't necessarily think we know. So we're looking for somebody else. How do they do authentic? And that's a great place to start. But it's also to just acknowledge that you're doing that. Acknowledge, I don't know, the kind of paradox, which is we want to be authentic, which is here. And yet at the moment we're having to look out there to see how other people are doing it. So it's to remind yourself that at some point you want to come back. So it's like, how are they being authentic? Okay, well, they're talking about how they feel. They're using words that feel true to them rather than words that are lots of syllables or words that are kind of fancy. And sometimes it might be like they're using language that's really simple. They're just saying it how it is. So then, rather than do exactly what they're doing, we then come back and say, well, what words would I use? If I were to talk about how I was feeling, how would I describe that? And so to understand that that place of authenticity is here. We might be looking out there for how other people are doing it. Our heart may be pounding, those armpits might get sweaty, the cheeks may feel flushed, but it's to remind ourselves, okay, I'm excited. I'm excited about being me. I can feel my body responding. And how am I now going to begin to express that? What words would I use? If I didn't know words that anybody else was using, what would I put onto the page? How would I say it? And always at the back of that is that knowledge that when we read other people and when we know that they're being authentic, we are so drawn to it. It's not because they're trying to be something else or because they're trying to be fancy. They're just telling it how it is for them. And so we can always come back to that, knowing that when we tell it how it is for us, when we use language that's right for us, it will be compelling for all those other people out there who are also trying to learn how to do it like that, also trying to learn how to do it real. So there you go, my 5 minutes to your Monday. And as always, I'm here to help. So if you've got any questions about how to be authentic, about maybe how the body is responding at the thought of being authentic, I'm here for you. Drop a comment below, keep watching my videos, and you can always get in touch and work with me. I'll see you next Monday.